Today, we're going to touch on two research papers that help us with our memory. Specifically, how can we retain memory and recall what we retain more effectively in the future? The first research article that I'm going to be presenting to you is a study that they did at Princeton and UCLA. The study was called "The Pen is Mightier Than a Keyboard: Advantages of Longhand Over Laptop Note Taking." I found this research paper to be pretty incredible. And let me just try to summarize everything for you. In a nutshell, if you write things down, you're able to recall what you write down better than if you were to type things out. The other nuance to this study was if you write things out and you review what you wrote out, you're more likely to recall that information compared to if you had typed something out and you review what you typed out. If you want to apply this to your own life, then make sure if you're viewing something that you want to remember days from now, or it's an important thing for you, whether you're preparing for class or presentation or a speech that you want to give, write out what you want to do that day and then rehearse what you write out. And you're more likely, according to this study, to recall that information. Isn't that wonderful? All right. So, study number 2 is also very interesting. What they found out was the people who watched National Geographic and exercised 4 hours later were more likely to recall that information days later compared to the people who watched the documentary, did nothing, and the people who watched the documentary and exercised immediately. So I find that fascinating. There's two takeaways here from today's studies, right? One, if you want to retain information, write it out and study what you wrote out. Number two, if you want to retain information, make sure you ingest the information, wait 4 hours, and then do some exercise. You're more likely to retain and be able to recall that information a few days later. Obviously, the study size for both research studies were small. I think it's a little bit, one was 66, the other was maybe 75. Take it with a grain of salt. The two studies are in the show notes. I hope you find today's information useful. Thanks.